People are leaving Houston, Texas by the truckloads, and I want to give you the inside scoop as to why that is. Houston is a great city and people absolutely love it. Yet there are a ton of people that can give you a million reasons why they absolutely despise Houston and deter people from moving here. So in today's video, we're going to go over the top 10 reasons why people are moving out of Houston, Texas, and that way you can make the decision if it makes sense for you to stay here in Houston or move out here to Houston. What's going on, guys? My name is Marcus Rankin. I'm a Houston, Texas realtor. I get calls and texts and emails every single day from folks looking to move here into the area and folks looking to move out of the area. And if you want a little bit more information or you want some clarity as far as what makes the most sense for you, you can reach out to me at marcusrankinrealtor@gmail.com or text 713-474-0059. Let's get into it. Reason number one why folks are moving out of Houston, Texas is because of the weather. I don't know if a lot of you know, but Houston had hit 108 degrees this summer. And what that means is, it's crazy because if you've been to Arizona or you've been to other places, you know that, of course, they're relatively hot. Sometimes Arizona might get to 116 degrees, 118 degrees. But the difference is here in Houston is we have humidity. 100% humidity sometimes because the Gulf of Mexico is about 50 miles away from downtown Houston. Plus you have Lake Conroe and Lake Houston, which is over 11,000 acres full of water. And what happens is when you have the heat, eventually the water starts evaporating, creating that intense moisture that you feel. So, it might be 108 degrees, but some would say it's 125 or 130 degrees. It almost feels like a sauna / steam room. When you deal with that on a continuous basis, especially for 4, 5, 6 months out of the year, well, now you start to look at other options as far as moving out of it. Houston has not had a full 4 seasons since I've lived here, which is all my life for 29 years. And I can tell you this is that whenever you go somewhere, maybe in the Midwest or even on the coastline of the East Coast, and they're dealing with 4 seasons, well, now you start to think, hey, is this the best place to live? So I always recommend, if you absolutely despise the heat, you might want to reconsider making that move out here to Houston, Texas. Reason number 2, zoning laws. And what I mean by that, there is no zoning here in Houston. If you ever seen a house, but right next door there was a business or a commercial property, well, that just kind of shows you that the zoning differs. But here in Houston, you can have that exact same thing for blocks and blocks and blocks, which kind of throws off the appeal of the entirety of the neighborhood. So if you're going inside of Houston, especially inside the 610 loop, you're going to see house, business, plot of land, house, business, and it just goes on and on forever. And the thing is, a lot of Houstonians that have lived here and might have stayed in a property since the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then now they get a commercial property that's being opened up right next door to them. One, they try to take it up with the city when they find out that that actual commercial unit is allowed to be there because of no zoning. Well, then a lot of people want to move out of Houston and never want to come back. Some people that I talk to on a continuous basis, they like to move out to the suburbs. That way they have a little bit more structure. They have the separation between commercial properties and residential properties. But a lot of other people that I have conversations with, they're actually wanting to move out of the state because they don't even want to think about the headache they've dealt with. Reason number 3, flooding. Hurricane Harvey came here in 2017. We all know about that. You've heard about that. It destroyed a lot of the city, caused a lot of emotional damage to a lot of the Houstonians, but a lot of people are moving out of here because they dealt with so much trauma from dealing with Hurricane Harvey. The thing is, I always recommend, even if you're in a no flood zone, you always get flood insurance because a majority of the people that flooded during Harvey said the exact same thing. And of course, Hurricane Harvey is a once in a 500-year event. However, it doesn't mean that tomorrow we can't have another flood just like that. So people are making a move outside of Houston because they just get tired of the flooding. They start worrying, are they even safe here? If you're making a move out here, be cautious on whatever property that you decide to purchase or the area that you decide to move in. The best way to find out this is, one, either go to a FEMA map or If you're buying a property, look on the seller's disclosure. They're going to annotate if the property had flooded or not. And if they falsify that statement, now that seller's looking at some legal actions that can be taken. Reason number 4, the traffic. Traffic has gotten worse and worse every single year. Ever since the pandemic happened and there was an influx of people that moved out here, well, now in the Houston metro area, which means Houston and all the surrounding suburbs, accommodates over 7 million people. And think about it, during rush hour, when folks are trying to get to work or trying to get back home from work, you're going to be dealing with traffic on any given basis. So the folks that are actually living in the suburbs don't deal with it as much. But if you're going on the main highways like an I-45 and I-10, the Beltway, you're going to be dealing with traffic almost every single day. And people that have lived here, since the early 2000s or even before that, really didn't have the same struggles with dealing with traffic as much as they are today. Now, the city is taking a lot of measures to get the roadways to where they can accommodate, but also what happens with construction is you have even more delays. So think about this. Let's say you're trying to get to work and now you got 2 wrecks that you're going to deal with. You got 2 detours and 2 roads that only have single lanes because they have construction on the other side. If you were anticipating a 30-minute drive, I can almost guarantee you that that's going to be about 50 minutes, even upwards to an hour. That is another reason why people are making a move outside of Houston and even outside of Texas in general. Reason number 5, bad drivers. So there was a study that was conducted that ranked Houston 3rd for worst drivers. And if you live here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The amount of road rage that you deal with, the amount of people that are cutting other folks off is incredible. Another article came in that stated in 2021, Houston had 66,988 traffic accidents, which is about 8 accidents every single hour that happens. So think about it right now. Since we've been talking right now, there's already been an accident. So when you start to think about this, you can understand why people are leaving this city every single day. And I know what you might be thinking. Well, there's bad drivers everywhere. And that's true. Of course, if you're going to be dealing with a population that's in the millions, you're going to be guaranteed some bad drivers. There's going to be some people that are just not having the best day. They feel like you cut them off, or they essentially need to get somewhere. And, that can attribute to bad driving. However, that is another reason why people are leaving outside of Houston. Reason number 6, property taxes. Everyone loves Texas because they have no state income tax. But when they own a home, they start to understand where the city collects its money. So essentially what that means is the county is going to assess your property value and you're going to pay a percentage of what the assessed value is depending on where you live. To put it in perspective, the national average for property taxes is about 1.10%. And in Houston, it's almost double to 2.13%. Even after you paid your mortgage off and you're pretty much good to go, you're still going to be responsible for property taxes as long as you own that property. Some ways that people lower their tax burden is going to be the homestead exemption. If you are a veteran and you have a disability rating, that can lower your property taxes. And if you have a 100% disability rating from the VA, you can be fully exempt from property taxes. Aside from that, the higher property taxes, that's another reason why people are leaving the city. Reason number 7, overcrowding. Ultimately, it boils down to people are leaving the city because it's so congested. It gets bad because if you go out to, the bar or you go out to the mall on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you're really going to feel the population increase. It's funny because every time I take my family and my kids to the mall, I feel like I'm bumping into somebody every single day. I used to go to this certain mall over there. It's called Baybrook Mall in Friendswood. And it was, it was relatively decent, when we would go to Zoomies and things like that. But now I can't even get to my favorite drink spot called Thirsties without bumping into 5 or 6 people every time. And God forbid, don't wear your new shoes to the mall on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, because you're going to get out of that mall and you're going to see about 5-6 scuff marks on your brand new shoes. So either 1, get some shoe cleaners. Number 2, don't wear those new shoes. Or number 3, just get some bubble wrap so nobody bumps into you. Reason number 8, education. I talk to people moving to the city every single day, and most times when they have kids, their main concern is where is the best education? To which I tell them what suburbs usually have the best education. Yet, according to usnews.com, they rank Texas number 35 out of all 50 states. And people want to leave outside of this city because they want to give their kids the best chance of getting educated. You have Florida, who is ranked number 1 according to the same website. And people would agree that you really don't see the difference until they go off to college in other states, and their classmates are people that were from these higher ranked states. So people are giving their kids the best advantage by moving out of the state, finding somewhere that has a lot better education system, and that way they can give their kids the best chance of success in their latter years. Reason number 9, energy bills. Every single year, energy is going up. Texas is an unregulated market, meaning this allows for consumers to choose their electricity provider in hopes that it creates competition in the market to drive down the price. Yet with the higher natural gas prices and the higher demand, the energy bills seem to rise year over year. Houstonians begin to get fed up with the lack of transparency. Sometimes their energy bill might be one amount one month, and the next month it might be double. We had a freeze that occurred in February of 2021, which caused power outage for millions of Texans. And then after that had happened, the energy bills almost doubled. And I linked the map below where you can find regulated markets and unregulated markets. And reason number 10, bad air quality. Houston is known for the hot oil and gas market, which is another reason why we're one of the worst cities with the worst air pollution. This is because of the many plants that are located in Deer Park, Texas, LaPorte, Texas, about 30 minutes outside of Houston, whereas you get all the pollution that occurs from the plants, and year over year over year, it increases the pollution in the city. After breathing this stuff in year after year after year, a lot of Houstonians have attributed their health problems to the poor air quality here in Houston. When you couple this with the other 9 reasons that were mentioned in this video, you can understand why thousands and thousands of Houstonians are moving away from the city. All right, guys, so that's it for this video. If you're still at the end of this video and you say, hey, listen, I heard that, I'm okay with all that, and you still want to make a move out here to Houston, Texas, and you want to come up with a game plan as far as when you should start looking for a property, how you should start moving out here, some additional things you need to know before moving out here, reach out to me at marcusrankinrealtor@gmail.com or text 713-474-0059. If you find value from this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as I'm bringing new content every single week to the channel. And if you have more questions or you want clarification or you want to let me know your thoughts, just comment below. I'll be happy to answer those. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video.